lip color is so crazy. Hey guys, it's Vanessa, and today we're talking about modeling. Just a little disclaimer for you guys, I'm not a professional model. I don't really, have any professional experience at all. Yeah, I just have a few tips if you are plus size and kind of things that I like to do when I'm taking a photo being a plus size woman. I have my trusty notebook here with all of my just little tips, so we're gonna go through them now. For full-length pictures, I focus a lot on posture. If you are scrunching down your shoulders and you're kind of closing yourself off, it creates a very, the composition of the picture isn't that great. So you want to think about rolling your shoulders back and also bringing your chin forward and engaging your abdominal muscles. One thing that I actually learned from Kim Kardashian is if you don't really have a very defined jawline, you want to think of pushing your head out and pushing your chin down, and it will create more of a defined shadow underneath your jaw. I like to create that illusion that I don't have a double chin. Another thing I like to do to elongate my body, because I'm only 5'6", I like to stick one leg out. And you'll actually see this in a lot of pictures that people that model do, because it makes you appear taller than you actually are. So if you stick out one leg, then you're just going to elongate your body, give yourself some vertical lines that will look good in the picture. Biggest one for me is putting my elbows behind myself. So a lot of the times I see people putting their hand on their hip, and really that creates a lot of space between your arm and your body, and it makes you appear wider than you actually are. If you move it behind yourself, you're creating this illusion that you aren't as wide, kind of streamlines your body and makes you appear a lot smaller than you actually are. Kind of accentuates your waist a lot because you have your elbows behind yourself and you're not really creating extra space in between your arms. As I was saying before, I don't recommend putting your hand directly on your waist or on your hip, because it just kind of makes you look like a stick figure, in my opinion, because you kind of just have this very weird triangle arm look. What I would actually recommend is putting your hand just a little bit lower on your thigh. That will give your body a much softer look. I was looking through my pictures, I also noticed that I tend to alternate my arms. So if I have one arm down, I'll have the other one up. And this just gives you a more candid look, or a more natural look, because in everyday life you wouldn't just have your arms down at your sides and just walk like that, you know what I mean? You would have your arms, you'd be kind of playing with your hair. Even if the picture is very posed, you can still have a very natural effect to it where you would be doing these kind of poses in everyday life. So that's a big thing. Arms, in my opinion, are really difficult to pose correctly, and especially hands. If you want to get your hands right, just think of completely relaxing them, because a lot of the times I see people kind of scrunch in and it makes you look like you have claws, and so in pictures it just doesn't look good. Angles. Angles is the biggest thing to me, because if you are plus size, then you know that certain angles can make you appear wider than you actually are. You want to think about what is going to be closest to the camera, and that's what's going to appear the biggest. So when I take photos, or when I have somebody else take photos for me, if I'm doing it on my phone, I'll ask them to shoot me going upwards, so they'll actually point the phone upwards instead of directly straight on, because if you point upwards, then you're going to appear taller in your image, and it's going to give you more vertical lines than horizontal lines. Posing. Posing is really difficult. I gotta say, I never knew what to do. So many of my friends, when we're taking pictures together, they're like, what do I do? And I'm like, just have fun, just play. I like to play with my hair. If you ever watch any of my videos, like I'm constantly like playing with my hair and just like getting into it. Of course it depends on like what the actual picture is about, but if you're just taking like a really cute like Instagram pic, then I like to play with my hair. I like to kind of like cradle my neck, look in different directions. Also, you don't want to just constantly look at the camera. You kind of want to like look off into the distance, kind of like look to the side. All these different things are just playing. Some go-to things: playing with your hair, playing with your hands. If you want to like hold your hands like this, or just kind of like get more comfortable with setting your hands on your body. Finally, a prop. You know, just grab like a Starbucks or grab a pair of sunglasses and just start like using it, putting the sunglasses on and like playing with them in your mouth. Also for this, when I'm trying to figure out new poses, I stand in front of the mirror and figure out what I think my body looks in the best angle, and I just play with that, take a lot of selfies, see which ones I like. It's all about practicing. When you do need to take a photo, then you have some like go-to poses so you know what works on your body. Next thing up on my list is some don'ts. So I used to do this a lot in pictures, and now I really see how I wasn't happy with my body, and I was always trying to hide like my stomach or my arms in pictures, and it really just made it apparent that I didn't like myself. It really shined through in the picture that I wasn't happy and I wasn't, you know, feeling confident in my body. So now when I take pictures, I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to make my stomach look like it's tiny, or I'm not trying to pretend like I have little tiny arms. You know what I mean? Like, embrace your body and embrace your curves because they're beautiful, and you will just look so amazing in your pictures. I'm not even kidding. Like, if you look at some of my old pictures compared to now, I am so like strong and confident compared to how I used to be. And that takes time, and that's going to take a lot of, you know, like mental health. But if you want, as a plus size girl, to look good in your pictures, be confident. I know it seems like I'm saying it and it's like, oh, it's not that easy. I know girl, it's not that easy. But if you're working on it and you're working on getting to that happy self-worth place, then it will show. It'll show in your pictures. Next thing, selfies. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I take my fair share of selfies, and I have a few things that I've kind of figured out look best when I'm taking a selfie, or just selfies in general. How many more times can I say selfie? One of the biggest things that I focus on is putting the phone as far away from myself as I can. So you're getting a lot in the image and you're not really cropping out any of your like body or any of your face. So I used to crop out like my forehead and stuff because I felt like it was really big, and actually it makes your forehead look bigger in the photo because it's so zoomed in. So if you want to appear smaller, then hold the phone as far away from yourself as you can. The other thing I do is I actually have it below myself and not in front of myself, because if you have it directly in front of your face, you're going to appear as if you're kind of flat. And if you have the phone below yourself, it's kind of a similar effect to when I was talking about the angles of a full body picture. So it's going to make you appear as if you're a little bit more like powerful. The only downside is you have to be careful with how low you go, because you might end up looking like an egg, but just have it at like a reasonable angle and shoot yourself looking down at the phone. You also want to think about your own face shape and think about how you need to kind of form your face in a picture. So personally, my bottom lip is a lot bigger than my top lip. So look at this. So it looks like I'm angry, or it looks like I'm sad, even though I'm not, just because my bottom lip pulls down my mouth and it makes me look like I'm unhappy. But in pictures, I basically have to do at least a barely there smile so that it looks as if I'm happy. So it's a very small detail, but you want to work with your own face shape and just give yourself a little bit more structure so that when you're taking a picture, you don't look like you're angry or sad or anything like that, because I get that enough in everyday life. I don't need to look like that in a picture. You guys, I'm sweating out for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, these are just some of my tips that I like to do when I'm taking a photo. I hope they've helped you. Feel free to add me on Instagram and tag me in some of your pictures if you end up using any of these tips. I'd love to like your photos. Make sure that it's not on private so that I can actually see it. Go out, take some pictures in nature, and just have fun. Just play around with taking pictures because you're gorgeous and you should take pictures of it. I love you guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and hit that bell so that you get notified when I upload new videos. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, bye!